great results in the morning. So
I'm exactly the same.
aye.
I'm similar. I'm not a morning person, so I don't know whether I'm not
I can go away, do it on my own. Miles better.
Strange, isn't it?
It don't make sense.
I thought to myself sometimes I was concentrating so much on Sean's screen, I wasn't looking at my own sort of screen. You're thinking, oh, I'm sort of waiting for his in the background, sort of waiting for his approval kind of thing before you get anything. You know what? I'll just come away from that and just do it by myself. That's how I sort of learn. Aaron, you okay, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. You?
Yeah, mate.
Right, mate.
How's it going, boys?
Sound, mate. Sound.
I've just sent you a picture there, Jason. You see it?
Yeah, I got it, mate.
That looks all right to you, doesn't it? It's active.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Well, they're having a nightmare at the moment with these bloody payment runs, aren't they?
Are they?
Yeah, it's like there's about 11 or 12 in the group that are they're showing inactive, or they should be like 2 and 3 and then they're not, and yeah, it's just not good. Oh well.
Yeah. One of them is my.
Jack, you okay, mate? Yeah, one of them is you. You're not active. You never pay up.
It's crazy, man. I completely forget.
Thanks for charging you interest now.
Yeah, so
Where is he? There we go. Right, so we'll jump on screen. Holding share screen. I was just looking then. I don't know what we can trade, but again, the same as what I'll do with Sean. We can just guide you, and I'll tell you sort of a little bit how I trade. But it's entirely up to you guys if you want to take the trade or not. If you lose, please don't come shooting me and hunting me down. Don't blame me. But I was just looking. Bitcoin is running at 75% at the moment. There's nothing much else running, to be honest. What I was saying early on, Brian, about why I did not trade today, it's because it's Martin Luther King's Day. So it's a Memorial Day. So people don't trade that day in Forex. So that's why, if you've been on the charts, the market is massively choppy today. That's why. So it's the US dollar pairs, they've been all over the place.
Yeah.
So I've not traded yet. I don't know whether I will either. I don't really know the ins and outs of it, but that's the reason why. I'm guessing it's today he died, is it? Or something to do with him. Let me move this. Bitcoin, okay. So I typically usually change my time frame from the 1 minute over to the 1 hourly. You can do it pretty much on 30 minutes if you want, or the 1 hour. You could even go to 4 hours if you wish, just to get the overall trend direction of what's happening. So you can see, I'll delete that. So I trade exactly the same way as Sean, guys. I just add a few more things in. So obviously you can see an overall trend direction of upwards, but obviously bear in mind, this is how I used to trade. It's trend trading. But bear in mind, obviously we're doing 1 minute, not 4 hours. So you've got to take that into consideration. The chart is not going to really respect what sort of which way the trend is going, compared to a 1 hour. So what I usually do is obviously I stick my trend line in. So that's a very strong support or resistance line, basically. Yeah, so obviously Sean his indicator gives you obviously your horizontal ones, which are your green and your red ones across, but this is a kind of a diagonal support, really, because you can see all the way up here, it's respected it, so it's pushed off, it's tried to break it, and it's just not going. Again there, the half there, it's the pin perfect hit there. Again, it's tried to hit there. So it's trying to push through this, so it's just not happening. So that's, for me, another line of support. So if I was to take buys on what we're on Bitcoin, and let's drop it down to the 1 minute, I'd be somehow trying to look for that diagonal line, which, let's go back, confusing me. That pink line is what I'm looking for. So drop it down back to the 1 minute. That's the pink line. Obviously, it looks straight now because it's only on a 1 minute chart, but that's it. You can tidy it up if you want to. You can then maybe put your own in on that different time frames. So it's just, all these tools are in here, guys, on the left hand side. So this is actually called the trend line, I think. Yeah, trend line. So so from the bottom there up to the top, and there you go. It's pretty much pin perfect. It's touch. So a trend line, you have to have a minimum of 3 touches: 1, 2, and 3. Don't worry about it not being pin perfect, just because this one is a little bit out here, and this one is sticking out, if you wish. That one's a bit too short, and that one's just quite over. You're never going to get a chart that's pin perfect. It just gives you an overall trend direction of which way you're going. So the whole point of this really is, I think I've told you a few of you before, is if you're going to fall into the sea, which way you're going to swim? You're going to go with the tide or without, against the tide. It's obviously, you got a lot more survival chance, I'm sure, going with the tide. So just go with the flow. So it's the same with trading. I would here now rather take buys than sells. It's just a game of tug of war, really. It's either up or down. That's what we're looking for. So let's say there's 50 million people buying and there's 45 million people selling. Who's going to win? It's that simple. There's more money in people buying, pushing upwards, than there is downwards. So therefore, that's my kind of analysis that I do. It's very basic. There's more stuff I can show you, but it's kind of more complicated, but I don't want to confuse you. So that just gives you an overall analysis of which way the direction of the market is. And I think market direction, market structure is very, very important. So, if you can, I was saying to Brian the other day to get onto some of the IM guys that teach you about market structure and stuff. So it's really, really important. For example, let's turn off. So for example, this here, that's your highest point in the current market at that in that time zone, yeah, if you wish. So here we're looking at a downward trend. What it's done, for example, is hit that support line. So if you didn't know about that support line, if it wasn't there, you'd be thinking, oh, why has it only come down to here and it's bounced off again? And that's the reason why. It always respects the support line. So if you draw that in, you'll obviously, you can leave that in there if you want, but you'll understand why it's bounced off there. And this is what market structure is. If you can understand and read market structure, you're gonna 99% of the time project where the market's gonna go. Because me and Aaron used to do this all day, every day. It bounces off 1, 2, 3, and 9 times out of 10, it bounces off that trend line and bounce the way it wants to go. So it's just an added sort of confirmation, if you wish, to your armor. So what's happened then? It's bounced off, and what is done is broken structure. So again, going back to market structure, if you can nail this, you'll be literally flying. So this now is called a higher high. Yeah, so because this is higher than this. This was the current point in the market within this sort of zone, was the highest point. What time is that? So that was, come on, that was 9 o'clock. Yeah, 9 o'clock. That's nearly 24 hours ago. Yeah, so yesterday, that was the highest point of the market basically. It's pushed down through the night. What time is that? Yeah, 4 o'clock this morning. Tried to break through, not happening. Yeah, so now we know it's on an upward direction trend. It's pushing upwards, so we can start moving our. So we got our bottom support line in, the trend line. We can add this one in now, so we can go from there up to here. Again, like I say, it doesn't have to be pin perfect. So the blue line is obviously the Bollinger Band, so don't worry about that. Let's turn off. Try for a minute. There you go. That's a bit better if you delete that yellow one, that one, that one, that one. Now what you've got really is a channel. Yeah, so early on we had a bigger one on the 4-hour chart, which is your overall one. I don't know why, but I keep on using this analysis. It's a bit like a heart surgeon. Obviously, from the outside, looking at the body, he can have some sort of idea what's going on, but until he gets his knife and slits you open, it's a bit gross, and starts looking at internal what's going on. It's the same with trading. You know, you can look back on the 4-hour and get an overall trend direction of what's going on, but if you want to start looking into the finer detail, if you like, you know, start zooming in, you need to drop down to different time levels. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. So now we're on the 1 minute. You can touch up these and play with them around. And don't just go with like, I'll go like sort of here just because it fits. It needs to be ideally spaced apart. These are perfectly spaced apart. Yeah, so that one there, that's touch and that's touch. So if we take, let's go trend line from there to there, change the color. Let's make it yellow. So that yellow line there should hopefully be not far off the same. Yeah, it's not too bad, but you know, you get the idea. The gap in between needs to be, that to me is a perfect sort of touching of a trend line. Yeah, so if the next one was, if that was the first one, the next one was here, maybe the next one was there. It's not fantastic. It gives you a small sort of trend, but it doesn't. There's nothing sort of solid confirmation for me there. And remember, we're still on a 1 minute chart, so they need to be perfectly evened out, to be honest. So we can drop that. So you can go from the body or the wick through the next sort of body or the wick. Ideally, you need to go from wick to wick to wick, and if you can get them to line up, then that's pin perfect. But you can go from, you know, the body of here, the body of the candle, through this wick or touch this wick, and then over to this. So, like I said, this here, I would imagine that's called a fake out. That's the banks playing with us. Yeah, so it's trying to push people to buy. Yeah, so a lot of people would have caught this up here, would have said, oh, we're in for a buy. There's millions and millions of people pumping all their money in, sticking it, you know, up and up and up, and then literally the banks have pushed it just enough to take it up to there. But people greedy, they want it, they expect it to go up there. They stay in and stay in. What happens? The banks push it down on purpose and take all these people out that are in here. Yeah, that's the banks. That's smart money. I won't go into that. That's pretty complex stuff. But that's, again, it's down to smart market structure. If you can identify stuff like this, you know, there's a good chance there's a trend reversal happening, because if it's going to respect the trend line, just touch once, just touch twice, and here it's trying to push out. It's called a fake out, or they call it an FU candle, which is a fuck you candle. So a fake out is trying to push it, basically, what do you call it? Antagonize maybe, or intimidate people, try and, you know, sort of lie to them. Yeah, we'll keep on going up, even more people get in the market, and then bang, slams it all the way down. You could actually level this one. So it's not exactly, but not far off. That again is the banks. Yeah, so I won't go into that too much. But market structure, it's very, very important, in my opinion, anyway. You know, it's just like, you know, setting off from, I don't know where you all live, but let's go from London to Scotland. You know, you know, there's 4 different ways to get there, but what's the first thing we're going to do? Stick it in the sat nav and find the fastest route. It's the same with trading. We need to know where we're going. We need a trend direction. We need to know which way the trend is going. Why are you going to put sells on when you're fighting against millions of people buying? That's, you know, why I do this. I then go onto my indicator, or Sean's indicator, and I would ideally just be taking buys. Why? Because there's more people buying. I think there's a, let's say, even if it's 51% against 49%, I'd rather be in the 51% because it's just giving me that added 2% of added value, basically. And there's more people there. It's just at the end of the day, it's a numbers game, guys. You've got to literally, you know, do your analysis and understand how market structure is moving, just to know what's going on with the market. They say it's a language. Yeah, they say it speaks to you. So that's what I do. So it doesn't mean I don't take sells just because it's in an upward direction, but I would prefer to look for buys than sells. You know, for example, look at this here, big massive up candles. I would happily go into them because I know that's the way the market is going. Maybe it doesn't make a big difference. It's just psychology for me. It just puts me a bit more ease. Like this here, the big sells here, the white candles, they'd be fantastic to get in on. So that personally to me is your zone now. Yeah, so you're trading in between these two pink lines. Yeah, so for example, this now may come down to here and bounce off again. So if you know it comes down to here, that's your previous trend line early on from the 1 minute, yeah, 4 hour, yeah, 1 minute. So if you bounces off there, which way is going to go? There's a 99% chance it's going to push up, isn't it? It may do come down here. Don't get me wrong, it can always break. But if it's going to break, what typically happens, it will break, it will pull back and retest this trend line and then shoot down. So that is called a break and retest. Yeah, so this is quite deep stuff tonight, guys. Don't worry if you don't get it. I'm just trying to add sort of value to you. I think you all get how the try works and understand it. But this is the kind of stuff that I look for. You know, and as soon as you set this up, you know, on the 4 hour, the 1 hourly, it very, very rarely changes really. You know, it takes maybe 2 to 3 days. You know, you can do them all on different pairs. You can leave them on there. So if you go to AUD, NZD and come back, it's all still going to be there for you. The pink lines are still going to be there. Yeah, but maybe if you wake up in the morning, the market might be down here. Then we obviously scrap all that and we just redraw what we see. Yeah, remember we always look left to trade right. Yeah, obviously we're going this way, rightwards. You need to look left, see what's happening in the market, see what has happened. It's speaking to you. Yeah, you need to be able to read it. It's just like a new car. Yeah, it'll take time to read it, but if you can understand how it'll handle, what speed you are comfortable at, what speed you want to go around corners at, you know, if you've got 6 gears, how the clutch is, how the brakes are, how the steering wheel, is it light, heavy? It's all these things, you know. So, you can use a lot of life experiences to go into trading, really. Sounds pretty cliche and pretty cheesy, but right, we'll try and look for some trades if you want. What we're on is Bitcoin. It's up to you. Bitcoin's still at 75%, I think. Let me refresh this option. Crypto. You got any questions, by the way, guys? Let me check chat box. There we are. Chats. Anything in the chat? No. If you want to unmute yourself, feel free. Ask any questions. Bitcoin.
Jace,
Yeah, go on, mate.
do you know underneath your chart there, the balance of power? What's that there? I've got something different on, but I'm just interested to know what that's telling you there.
You know, mate, it's just literally sellers versus buyers. So obviously anything pushing up, that means there's more buyers in the market. Anything pushing down means there's more sellers in the market. It's the same as the CMF and divergence, really. All the indicators are, they all do the same thing. They're just worded differently. Yeah, well, most of them do the same thing. They tell you obviously which way the market is pushing. Yeah, so up or down basically. But yeah, you can add it if you want to. It's
Yeah, I've got divergence on at the moment, but it's all still pretty new to me. So
Yeah, no worries, mate. Yeah, do you understand divergence on the CMF and the, what else have you got on? Have you got the RSI?
which one's that?
You'll just say RSI, which is relative strength indicator.
2 seconds.
You got that?
I
on?
got divergence indicator, CMF on the bottom,
Mhm.
and then obviously you got the tri indicator on the charts.
Okay. Is your CMF and the divergence together, yeah, in one panel?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Do you want to go over it, or you happy with it?
I don't really know 100% really what they do, to be honest.
Okay, mate, no worries, let's do it. So everybody's not using it or adding it, guys. You need to make sure they're based on 9, so the length is 9. Both of them. 9, 9. If you want to add them on top of each other, just literally hold your cursor on one and drop it on the other. So let's get rid of the balanced power. Okay, the CMF is, like I said earlier on, everything is basically exactly the same. So it means the same thing. So if these are pushing upwards, then the market should be pushing upwards. If they're pushing downwards, then they should be pushing downwards. Yeah, so the CMF is shaking money flow. So it literally means how much money that's in the market. So obviously, if it's pushing upwards, there's obviously there's more money in the market. There's more buyers in the market at that current point of time. If it's pushing downwards, then there's more money. It's just a money flow system, basically. There's more people selling. The divergence is the only thing, the only indicator in all of Forex that will give you a kind of heads up tip to tell you what is about to happen, if that makes sense. So here, for example, so from here to here, we've got a bullish divergence. Okay, so it usually is about 15 to 18 candles behind. So let's mark this out here. You can already see that at the bottom, yeah? So bullish. If you don't know what they mean, bullish is upwards, yeah, and so bullish, how a bull literally attacks is upwards, and that's where the meaning comes from. So obviously a bull with his horns like that, there you go, perfect example. So it attacks upwards with its horns, puts its head down, and obviously flicks upwards. So that's a bullish market, which means upwards, and then a bearish, a bear attacks downwards. Yeah, it will stand up tall and proud and put its hands out and obviously attack downwards. So that's a bearish market. So that's where it actually comes from, bull and bear. So if you go to New York, Wall Street, where all the money happens, biggest financial market in the world, they've got like statues of bears and bulls everywhere there. So that's what that means. So bull obviously means upward. So we're looking for the upward move to happen. So that, like I said, it's usually 15, 18, 20 candles behind. So that's your move there. So it's told you here. So that's what I was saying earlier on. It's the only thing that will tell you what is about to happen. Yeah. So none of this. This is far, far too flat for me. This is a little slight down movement. Still flat, still flat. You could possibly say it started here. Yeah, small increase. So that would be a perfect example of a trade there. So you know the bull has kicked in there. So it's telling you, right, be aware there's about to a run upwards going to happen. So it started to kick up here. So Sean typically would be looking at here. I would be looking at the bigger picture, and I like to zoom out. I'd be looking at this one to see that one there before I put my yellow. So this one, there's a big cloud of red here. Yeah, so there's big resistance here. So I'd be concentrating on that one and possibly this one here as well. So even I would maybe just draw out a whole zone rather than just a line. So sometimes if it's that strong, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 red resistance there. So there's a major resistance there holding that back. So, and it's respected it. So it's tried once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times, 6 times. So that one, there you go, that one there, that small indecision candle, that one's respected this panel here. and then it's decided, right, see you later, off we go. That's pushed and pushed and pushed, and that would have been your big move, which it told you here. Yeah, so that's the, like I say, that's the only sort of heads up the market will give you. So that's what they mean, mate, basically. So they just mean CMF is how much money is in the market, and a divergence just literally tells you what's possibly about to happen. So they ideally need to be moving together. This was not great. They are crossing over, so stay clear of that. But sometimes you do have to go with your heart and your sort of common sense. You know, you're thinking, well, you know what? Over time, that's why I didn't have mine on. I don't have mine on just because I've got the balance of power on. It does play with your head. It literally plays with you all the time. You're thinking, well, Sean said not to get in them there, and you possibly just missed that move. So, you know, that's the prime example of it shows not to get into a trade, or you've been told not to go into a trade because they're crossing over. But that's a good move. Yeah, flat bottom, flat bottom, flat bottom, flat bottom. And it's broken some serious resistance there. Yeah, so that's gone. Let's just shot up. Delete that, delete that.
Is the CMF in real time, NJs, or is that like a 18, 20 candle lag on that as well?
So we based it on 9 candles. So it takes the last 9 previous candles and it gives you a mean average. Yeah, so it'll take.
Right. Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it takes them so 9 candles here. And obviously the numbers on the right hand side, wherever they open and close, it'll calculate that for you in milliseconds. And obviously add them all together and subtract them and whatever it does, and it gives you obviously a mean average. And that's where it shows on the graph here. So you see the point to the bottom on the right hand side on the graph. So it just maps it out there for you. But yeah, it should be pretty accurate real time, mates. Should be quite close. So it's trying to push through there now. I'll show you a difference. It's a bull. There, that was what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, about maybe here. That could have been your. So yeah, that I wouldn't take that one because that's quite flat. Definitely don't take that. The one before it is still sort of showing you bull resistance. So here, another one here. They're not overly big, to be honest, so I wouldn't be overly fussed about them anyway. So that would have been here. That's your run there. Again, you know, they're not that big, so it doesn't mean there's much volume in it. So you can see there's not much volume in the candles, so not fantastic. You do get some of them which they're quite big. They are very long, some of them. A bear one, there you go. That's should see a big move here somewhere. No, not really. Down. Possibly there, but that's quite far out. Again, it's just down to common sense, you know. You just got to try and work it out. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It's just, again, it's an indicator. It's not 100%. It's not always going to give you an accurate reading. So trades. There you go. So that's broken there now. But then so that's a prime example. So Sean typically would be looking at this one here. I would have been looking at this one here as well. Yeah, because what it's done is suspected that area again, obviously dropped down. So now we've got an indecision. The major one is trying to push down. So look at the purple and the green starting to flick. So the purple line is pushing down hard now. Yeah, so we can add maybe another one you may have come across. Or the RSI, so the RSI is pushing downwards as well. So we've got 23 seconds left for this candle to close. Again, there and just because it's past, here, it doesn't ideally mean that it's going to push past it. It's a good indication. It's a good sign because it has broken that. See the green one there, this one. So it's gone through that one, it's gone through that one, it's gone through that one. But yeah, that's opened and it's not great. So it's too close to the EMA anyway. So we're waiting for our next one to see. You all know how it works, I guess. It's just you may take something, maybe even one thing from me that may help you trading.
Is it a set amount of time, Jason, when you're looking at previous resistance and you're marking the lines to watch that they breaks resistance that they couldn't break through before or support? Is it like an amount of time where that doesn't really matter anymore?
No, until they've broken, really, I would leave my lines in there. And I sometimes leave my lines in there for a long, long, long time, because look what's happened here. Now you've just mentioned it. Let's take this yellow line all the way back. What does it line up with? That red one there, not far off. Yeah, so now it's a key level. So that's another thing you can learn from the academy. Yeah, so now you've got key zones or key levels where the market respects. So if you can, like gold respects the 50 lines every time. So like 1350 and 1300 and 100 sort of thing. Them sort of, it goes up and down in increments of 50s. So gold absolutely respects them 50 lines and 25s actually, and that's key levels. That's again another sort of thing you can look at. So yeah, that's, you know, just zooming out again. So you've got two resistance up here. It's broken all that, pushed up, it's broken down, but then come back to that sort of area. So, you know, I would sometimes leave that yellow line in there. It doesn't overly mean much, but if you know it's respected it once, twice, 3 times, and it comes maybe down here or over here and respects it again, you know it's going to sort of bounce off in either way, you know. So if you're looking here, it's come up to here, bounced off, come up to here, bounced off. It's pushed through, but again, it's come back. Now it's sitting on support. So it's moved from resistance. It's now become support. So if we're looking for buys, this market may do this for a long, long time. It may come down to here, and you know it's supports. There's a good chance it's going to push off again. So then you'd be looking for buys. Yeah, so again, it's just market structure, understanding what has happened and what we're doing here. We're looking left to trade right. Yeah, it's really important to, but just I used to spend hours and hours and hours doing this, drawing charts out. You know, even me and Adam used to speak like 2 or 3 in the morning, drawing stuff out, and it really does help, you know. Even zones, just draw them out with the squares if you want to. You know, it doesn't have to be a line. So that is your zone. That's where you can concentrate on. Yeah, there'll be more. There's thousands more. What else we got? The small ones, they do count, but they haven't had much impact really on the market. So again, if you want, you can maybe chop back to 5 minutes. Just delete this and start drawing in. Just take away. Don't feel you have to have try on all the time, because that looks 10 times better to be able to read it than with try on, right? So on the left here, you can choose the clips. Yeah, clips. I love these. Just mark them out. Just spend time doing this. So you've got a high, you've got a low. You've got a new lower low because this is lower than this one. Yeah. Again, you got a new lower low because this one is lower than this one. Yeah. Then we've got here, this is your new high because that is higher than this part here. This is just spend time drawing all these out. So yeah, you've got high, low, high here. And you've got a high, low. This is where it gets very confusing for understanding what's going on. Then you've got a low again. You've got a high again. Because that one's high because it's higher than this point. And you've got a low again because it's lower than that point. And And you've now got a new high, which is a higher high, yeah, because this is higher than this previous high. Yeah, so that shows us that we're starting to climb. So possibly it's going to respect this again and bounce upwards and look for buys. Yeah, so it may not be used to you guys, but you know, it's here. I'd be drawing maybe a slight channel in, line them all up. And that's a prime example. That's not worked for me. Yeah, so here it's bounced in between. It's come down to here, but what's happened? Pin perfect, hit that trend line and bounced off. Yeah, now we're going upwards. So now we can draw this out again. So we go from here to here, and here to here. Now we're going, this is called a wedge. Yeah, so that's a channel which is straight, like two narrow straight train tracks. This is a wedge because you can see it's like a wedge of a cheesecake. Yeah, at this point somewhere, it's just momentum and pressure building up. Buyers, sellers, sellers, buyers, sellers, sellers, buyers, sellers, buyers, sellers, buyers. Somewhere it's going to be a firework in the end. It's got to explode one way or another. Yeah, so it's got to go one way or another. So that's just time, really. Again, spend time drawing it all out. Yeah. So they are quite handy. I love them. Clip things. Okay, just spend time. Go back and back and back and back trace it and back test it. And just look at the market. Look at the. So a key level to me would be this area here, where it's at now. Yeah, if you take your little triangle, square even, and take it all the way back. Yeah, so it's come up to here. There you go. It's hit there. It's come away. It's broken through. But what's happened again? So Sean obviously teaches the EMA. Yeah, and the candles do this. The candles push off. They come back. So his example is, you know, imagine walking on this path with your little daughter or your little son or whoever, and they run away. What are they going to do? They're going to come back to daddy. Yeah, push off, come back. Push off, they come back to the EMA. I call it home or a magnet. It's the same here. This is what it's done. Yeah, it's touched here, played, come off, touched it there, pushed through. That's a prime example of what I was talking about early on. Yes, because this is a key level. Now I've identified it. It's broken and retested. Yes, that's what I was saying earlier on, is a break and retest. So it's broken that area, it's tried to push away, it's retested this area. And what a retest does, it's trying to figure out whether it wants to go back downwards or carry on upwards. Yeah, it's just what the market does. It's obviously break and retest here. It's pushed off. What's it done? Come back. Yeah, we zoom in. We've got here, it's pushed down, come back up. Push down, come back up, push down, slightly come back up, push down, and come back up again. Again, it's gone pushed up, come back. It's just, this is your level. This is your key level. This is your home, your magnet. The candles love coming back to it. You have to draw these out. You'll find it quite hard maybe in the start to identify them, but just, you know, practice it. Again, it's, you know, it's touch there, it's touch there, touch. Try to break out there, come back, try to break out there, hit resistance, the trend line, it's come back again. Yeah, this may be very confusing for you, thinking, well, shit, this is not going to help me, but hopefully it will, because it's just market structure. If you draw this out and you understand, maybe, you know, on your lives with Sean or you're trading by yourself, yeah, you start to see patterns and stuff. You think, all right, okay, yeah, so there, I should have taken a sell. There, maybe I should have taken a buy, or 2 buys, or 3 buys. Or there, it's done that. So there is low, and that's higher than that. Yeah. You start to see all these things. Yeah, and that's something I cannot teach you. It's just experience. It comes with time. I can tell you what to look for, but you do have to put the time in, unfortunately. That's a lot of market structure. Like I say, it's a lot to take in. It's mind-boggling, but that's what I was saying to somebody the other day. You can go on the lives on the let's find them. What they're called? The go lives on the educators. Subscription is due, and it's not. Let's try again. Academy. They may not help at all, but if you can possibly take one thing away from it, it should help. It literally all adds to your armor. Family monthly subscription. Oh yeah, my bank card. I've done this early on. Let me go on it. No. But I'm in the process of making a video anyway to show you guys where you can find different people. So you got literally a doctor that turned into a full-time trader. So Dr. Lee and Brandon Boyd, they do HFX. They are literally amazing. They teach you. They'll do a full session on support and resistance. Some of them teach you about market structure, price action. The one that was Barry was watching the other day was Evan Cabral. So yeah, they do help. So what we on? We got how long you want to stay on for? We've got 15 minutes, maybe if you want to take an hour, take a look for trades. If it's not been not any good to you, I apologise. I'm sure you're thinking, Jesus, shut the fuck up, just trying to look for trades. But I think it's important, because these little platforms are happening for a reason. Yeah. So if you can identify these areas, key areas, then you'll understand why it's happening.
Jason.
Yeah, Jack.
Yeah, these lines, mate. I think so for example, those indicator, they are I think it's specific for specific times, but those lines you're teaching me now, I think they are for the life.
These small ones, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, no. The lines you draw earlier.
Yeah.
Those lines, which is, I think we need to know more, because those are for the whole life. You just learn it and then you draw yourself.
Yeah, correct, mate. Yeah. These will pop up here, there, and everywhere. The small ones, but like you say, yeah.
Yeah, like for us, like I am a long time trader, so basically those lines helped me a lot.
Yeah, but what we're doing is HFX. Obviously, I know you hold trades for a long time. You're doing a bit more Forex, aren't you? But the HFX stuff, we're literally doing trades for 1 minute. So they do help, just giving overall direction, because they should be respecting them lines. But yeah, what you're doing is not really relevant to HFX, Jack.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're on the right tracks, mate. Yeah, you're definitely on the right tracks. If you want to draw them lines in, it will definitely help you. Yeah, it works on any time frame. If it's 4 hour daily or even 1 minute.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So it works really well, I think. Those lines, fantastic.
No worries, mate. So here we'd be looking for break of this small one, but also look left. What's here? There's another platform of resistance there. So sometimes what I used to do is just zoom in here, thinking, oh, there's nothing else there below. As soon as it broke this area, I'd be getting in, but what's happening? It's hit this resistance and then done that. I'm losing trades. I'm thinking, what's going on? I don't understand. And then I just sort of thought back and thought, you know what, we should always look left. I started looking left again. What's there? Resistance. So that really, until it gets broken, it's still live if you wish. So again, you know, you can leave that yellow line in. So I wouldn't be taking trades, buys, until it's broken this area. Yeah, but still being aware there's one up here. Yeah, but this is obviously a more than enough gap to take a trade and win it in a minute. So like this is how I used to trade. Sort of zoomed into here, just watching and watching and watching. As soon as this broke, I would be getting into it, like Sean teaches you. There's nothing wrong with that, don't get me wrong. But just be aware of, that's what helped me. Yeah, just be aware of what's going on over here. Because there's resistance there. Just trying to push up slowly now. An indecision. Yeah, leave these lines in. Put the blind in there, leave it there. Just remember what they are. To me now, that's resistance there. This is broken, so there's a good chance we're looking for buys. It's pushing hard again now. We follow the wick. Yeah, it's the last sort of 15 to 20 seconds. Sean looks for the last 10 seconds to see what the momentum and what's happening with the candle and the it goes, it's pushing up now. I still want it to see. There you go. So if you'd have taken that now, obviously at the moment you'd be at a loss. Yeah. But obviously, like Sean says, you need the body to break, not just the wick. And so I want it to come up to here. This is the main sort of level for me. I'd be expecting it, waiting for it to come up to here.
Jace, do you know if them candles break through them lines now, would you leave them in as a sort of a support on the way down, or
these yellow ones?
Oh no. Yeah, so the yellow ones, I pretty much drawn the same as well. You have there on mine.
Yeah.
But if they was to break through now and say get up to the higher level one that you've got, just above, and then it started coming back down, would you still leave them two close together there as like a possible support, or no?
If it's coming back down, then it would still be resistance. So here now, this was resistance. It's turned into support because no, it's not. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah, they're still respected, probably at that area. So yeah, they may bounce off them because it goes back to break and retest. So if it did come up to here, it broke, it's going to most probably come back down to retest that area and push back up again.
Right.
So yeah,
so it's a good idea to leave them in just as a guide.
Yeah, I would, mate. You know, and like I say, further down line, it maybe next week, and you notice, oh, what my yellow line is still there, and what it's done exactly the same thing again. You start again. That's how you start to see patterns.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just you don't have to, but you know, I just find it easier to read the market as well. If you got like levels like this, little different lines in, you just sort of take chunk by chunk, I guess. There you go. That's Sean's favorite there. As he took that, so it's obviously come up, hit resistance, indecision candle, and a flat bottom. You wouldn't have taken it because the body's not broken that wick yet. So maybe the next one we can get in on. So it's pushing hard down now. So even with these, just because there's no resistance there, I still put my line in. This could also be a pullback as well, which looks like maybe. So there's 30 seconds left. So I want it, either want it down here, pushing hard, the body, not the wick, or up here. I'm waiting for it to break the top resistance yellow line. Five seconds left. So yeah, that was a pullback, I think. The two red candles. So The market moves in waves, if you've not noticed yet. So you've got, even here, you've got like green up, red pull down, green up, pull down, down, up, pull back down, up, pull back down, big hard up now, pull back down. Hopefully this, if it goes the way we want to, pushes up. So that's where we want to get in. Yeah, that up there should break this resistance and carry on our, it's called Elliott Waves markets. So you've got, where is it? Elliott Wave, impulse move, there you go. So it's start at 0, 1, pull back to 2, pushes up to 3, pushes back, pulls back down to 4, pushes up to 5. Yeah, so that's an Elliott Wave impulse move. You know, don't start looking into it. It's quite complicated. This is very easy, you know, so you can just throw it out. But there's other parts to it. So again, if you want to find that, it's on the left-hand side here, just under the T for text. Click on that. You can have Elliott Wave impulse. You've also got a correction waves, the ABC, but that will come with time. You know, if you want to start looking at stuff like that. The correction wave is when it's pushing upwards, it corrects itself and pulls back down at itself. It's a change of direction in the market. I don't use any of this really. It's just, you can draw it in if you want. I would recommend it if you're fairly new, just to be able to read the market, you know, and see where it's going to go next, sort of thing. You know, but I can just sit here now. I can read it really. You know, it's done that, and looking for buys. Well, obviously looking for buys when it passes here. So at the moment, what it's done, obviously I've drawn in my own sort of yellow zone, and what I've got up here, let's drop this, oh, there you go, it's pushing now. So it kind of did a little bit of consolidation, sideways movements for what, 5 candles. It's maybe starting to break now. If it breaks there, we're looking good. That's just holding back there, that resistance, that body. And if you're going to take this, guys, the body needs to be really up here, pushing, it's pulling away now. We've got 4 seconds left. It's not strong enough. Maybe the next one. Yeah, but it's broken that yellow line now. It's testing, it's pushing through. So it's fighting it. It's dropped down a bit. Now we've got new resistance up here, but not much. It could also respect it. You know, it's trying to push through and it's failed at the moment. It could also respect it. It could touch up here now. It could just possibly turn it and pull back on itself, down back to the EMA. It's quite far from the EMA at the moment. We've got 10 seconds left. Yeah, so that's your indecision now. If you get a flat bottom and it's pushing hard down, there you go. I would imagine it's going to push down if you get in for a sell. Push down to here. Everybody get in that. There you go. Did everybody get in it? You'd have been winning that.
Nah, mate. I'm not trading today.
There you go.
I'm not either, mate. I'm starving, waiting for work, so I'm just jumping on while I've got it.
I mean, that's a prime example. Yeah, so that's the benefit of drawing that line out back over here. We identified the resistance, the zone there to start with. So some people, you know, if you wouldn't have had that there, you'd have just seen this one here, seen it break, you would have taken that trade, and there's a good chance you would have lost that. Maybe about 50-50. Yeah. And it's come up to here, hit resistance again. It just wasn't strong enough to break through this one. Where's it gone? Over here. There's just so many people selling from this point. There you go. That's pin perfect. So it just wasn't strong enough to push through here. So just because I drew that in, that would be my first sort of heads up. It's tried to push through. It's just failed. The wick's not the important part, remember, it's the body. The body closed below that yellow line. If the body would have been up here and closed up here, it stayed up there, and the next one, obviously trying to push and push and push, we'd be looking at buys. Yeah, but the body closed below and it's respected this. Again, don't worry, it's not pin perfect. It's like, what, 3 mil out or something, 4 mil out. Just because the top of that body there is not in line with there, you're never going to get a pin perfect market, unfortunately. You just get the overall gist of it. That's respected, that area there. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes a bit more sense to you. Draw it out rather than just having lines. Now you can see it as a zone rather than just a line. There's respect there. There you go. That's your indecision. Flat top, bang. Where's it going? Back to daddy on its path. The EMA. Back home, back to the magnet. I'd take that all day long. Yeah, and Sean literally loves that. This TRI indicator was actually built specifically for Bitcoin for that exact move. Yeah, so that's why I trade a lot of Bitcoin when it's 75, 78%. It doesn't happen that often, to be honest. Usually this time of night. So, you know, I get on Sean's lives now and again, but like you're saying early on, guys, I just seem to lose more with him because I think there's so much going on. There's loads of idiots, just, I shouldn't say idiots. There's loads of people making noises in the background. I just can't concentrate. You know, between now, not now, it's bad, don't ever trade between 10 and 11, by the way. Between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. is the typical time I trade. It's peace and quiet. The kids are in bed. The wife's not nagging me. Nothing around, no TV on. Leave me alone. I even put my phone in airplane mode so nobody can phone me or message me or nothing. It's full concentration. So we're on an hour now. So there's no point staying on, guys, because it's going to get choppy as hell now between 10 and 11. You can see it now. It's just starting to flicker everywhere. Please don't trade between 10 and 11. The brokers and stuff are taking their cuts and just pushes the market all over the place. So we can do another one if you want. We can, you know, that was sort of more of market structure. If you want to take a trade, I'm sorry. But we can start to do, Jesus, look at that. Because that was just literally down there and it opened up there. So now it's starting to break that area. Yeah, so big candles like this is what I look for. The big candles. These small ones I absolutely hate. I don't touch them at all. There you go. That's literally smashed that area now. Yeah, so it's just going and going and going. Pushing it from base option. Yeah. Also be careful with these guys, because obviously the harder they push up, the harder they fall down as well. Sometimes there's big pullbacks on them. So we've got what, 13 seconds left. You can see here, so if you just hold your little arrow here, like in one area, you can see it's just slowly flicking up. It's dying to go. It's dying to, there you go, see, bang, I'd be getting on that. You can just, that's what, it's like a motorbike, like revving and revving and revving, it's just dying to go. You can see it flickering and flickering and flickering, pushing upwards for the next sort of move. So if I just literally put a line in there, this was flicking, coming down fast, flicking back up, coming down fast, flicking back up. But you know, this is why you should not trade now, because you could have taken that trade, but it's just so choppy now between 10 and 11. It's lethal. So you've got a big retracement now. Got 10 seconds left. So it's dying away now. The candle's not so strong. It wasn't up there. This may turn into an indecision candle. If it does, you could be taking sells. Not now, but if it was a different time, it may just keep on going up. There you go, that's a prime example. Look at that one there. Pin perfect. Let's take that away. So here, major resistance. Look left, see what's happening. Put your line in. What's happened? Pin perfect, look at that. Right on the line, you can't get any closer than that. It's respected that area again.
So you expect it to come down from there on?
I would imagine so, yeah. Yeah, because there's major resistance there now. There's a lot of people sat there waiting on trades. That's the Forex side, that's the banker stuff. It's broken through.
Just made things make a lot more sense.
At that time it's broken through, but it's coming back down. How long have I got? 46 seconds. It depends where the candle closes now, the candle body. Again, that one's respected that area. It's sat there thinking, no, sorry, sir, I'll just sit here. I'll respect you. I won't go past the yellow line, sort of thing. No, it just sat there and stayed there. This one's coming back on itself. 22 seconds left. I personally would think this is going to do exactly the same of what it did early on down here. Was it down here? Yeah, down here. Tried to break through. There you go. That's your indecision candle. So try. There you go. That's textile trade. So if this is a flat bottom, flat top, there you go. Bang, straight in. I bought my house on that. Again, because the body did not close above that area, it's not broken through. It's respected that area, that zone up there, and said, sorry, sir, I won't do it again. I'll come back down. Yeah. Sells. So there's a big gap now, obviously, between here and home again. The magnet wants to come back home, back to daddy. So at some point, I would imagine it's going to start pushing down again. Probably the next candle. But again, this could be a pullback. So you just have to wait to see what the market gives you. Again, you just need to be able to read what the market is telling you. It's a language. People say it speaks to you. It's pushing down now, but this is not a flat top. It's an indecision again. So just wait. I think you all know how it works. I'm not going to go over it. But that's what really did help me. It's just looking left. Just even go back further and further and further and see what's going on. Yeah, it's really important. Identify where the levels are. Identify where the zones are. Like I say, if you want to draw out zones, feel free.
Chase, how do you zoom out so far? Like that, when you just zoom out?
I don't know, mate. I've got an iMac 21-inch. So it's a big screen. You should be able to do it. I think there's an option at the bottom down here. You try that.
Right down, try that.
Yeah, so if you should hover your mouse down there, it should pop up for you. I just do it with my mouse.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
I've been looking for a button for weeks.
I'm sure you all remember when you started to learn to drive, the driving instructor said, stop being so tunnel vision, narrow vision. Yeah, you need to take a wide lens of the road, see what's going on, the traffic lights, the girl behind the car, the little football in the road. You need to be looking at the top of the hill and work yourself back. That's the same with trading. When you're doing this, zooming in all the way down. Like I said early on, this is how I used to trade, zoomed in all the time. You just concentrate on that area, you would have missed what's going on over here. And that's all down to market structure. It's very important. So zoom out a bit, see what's going on, draw them trend lines in. Yeah, I go by them. I don't, possibly you could say I swear by them. They do. It does help. Now, if this breaks through here now, we're looking for buys. Maybe because we're going upwards in an upward direction because we've created a new higher high. That's higher than this and this. So yeah.
Cheers for the night, mate. I'm going to shoot bedtime.
Yeah, no worries. I'm just gonna jump off, mate.
No worries. Catch
No.
you soon.
Cheers, thanks. Take care, mate.
Cheers.
So here we're going over an hour, guys. So I'll stop recording. Unless you got any more questions, we've got anything in the chat. I don't know.
Brilliant, thank you, mate.
Say again, mate.
That's brilliant, thank you.
No worries. Hope it helps. It's like I say, if you take, one thing from me, three things from Sean, we jump on, the go lives with other people. You don't have to get on them live, but they're all recorded. So, like I say, I'm making a video for where to find them, and then that should be ready maybe tonight or tomorrow. I'll send it over in the chat, and then you should be able to just make the most of the academy. There's so much content in there, and they do HFX as well, so. And they'll be quite appropriate to what we do.